Alright, today we're going to be dissecting the camcorder from Remembrance Day. Now, in Remembrance Day, your spaceship is going to be invaded by these aliens that cannot be seen with the naked eye, so you have to use a piece of obsolete technology called the camcorder to view these aliens. Now, that is the plot of the story, but making this type of camera is actually easier than you might think. Let's take a look at the first-person character blueprint. Now, as you can see, I've got the camcorder here, which is pretty much standard 3D model of a camcorder. The only thing that makes it quite unique is that it is separated to have a second texture for that camcorder area. As you can see, the main camcorder, the silver and all the buttons, have their own texture, and then there's an added element for that camera screen, which is going to come in very useful in just a moment. And then I've got my first person character controller here, which is the camera that the first person can see through. And right next to it, I have what is called a scene capture component. You can go ahead and add one of those by going scene capture component 2D. I don't need an additional one. I rename all of my assets, so that would help you find it. Now, what this scene capture component 2D does is pretty much as it sounds. It captures an entirely new scene, and I was able to take that scene and post it to my camcorder, and then from there what I was able to do is make the aliens only visible to this particular camera. So let's dive in exactly how we do that. So first we want to go ahead and create that camcorder. The next thing we want to do is come over here to texture target. Now yours is going to be blank. It's going to say none right here. What you want to do first is create a new render target. So it's create new asset, and you want to create a new render target. It's going to ask you where you want to save it. I already got one, and I've saved it in textures, so I'm just going to cancel that, but you can click it and save it, and once you do, it's actually going to automatically fill this out for you with your new render target. So I called mine camcorder render target, and I'm going to go ahead over. So I saved all of those. Okay, so right now, here's my camcorder render target. It's black. The camera's not physically in the world, so it looks black here, but that's quite all right. It's still working. The next thing I want to do is I want to get that render target view, and I want to apply it to the camcorder. Now, in order to get the image to play on the material, I actually have to use that render target. So the render target is pretty much what the camera is going to be seeing, and I have to take that target and add it to this black section on the camcorder. So in order to do that, I need to come into my inventory and create what is a camcorder material, and that material is going to be the thing that goes directly onto the camera. A new material. So you can go ahead and right click, create a new material, and all you have to do is take that render target, drag it right up here, and pull it over into your final material. Actually, I'm sorry about that. One thing you actually have to do is change the material domain to user interface, because it is a 2D render, and we're going to put it out as a, okay, so just simply select, yours might be posted as surface, I believe, surface by default. We just want to come to the drop down menu, change it to user interface. This right here is going to change here, and you can put that into the final color. Thus you have your render target material. Alright, so once I have my material made, I can go ahead and find my camcorder. I use the same camcorder on display because in the game the character actually comes over here and picks it up. So if yours is something where it's like in your inventory or whatever, you just have to go to the object inside of your content browser and apply it that way. But I've got this here, and fortunately the way that this camcorder was made, I do have a separate material for the screen. Otherwise I'd have to make a separate one and edit it out if you're trying to put it on something that doesn't have a separate material. I do believe I'm in 5.3. I'm using UE 5.3, so there is a new mesh. I think they've updated the mesh system here, and there are some where there is a tool that you can split static assets and give different components its own material. So you may have to do that, or if, you know, editing 3D mesh isn't your thing, find a camcorder that, or whatever tool you're using that's already got that second material. But I've gone ahead and applied that camcorder material that we've just made directly to my camcorder, so now it's going to show on the screen. So when it shows on the screen, what it's going to look like is it's just going to look like another scene. It's just going to look like two scenes. Like it's staring straight ahead, your camera's staring straight ahead. There's going to be two scenes. So I took the extra step and I went ahead and made a widget that looks like a camera. Otherwise, it would just be it's edgeless as well. So there would just be this edgeless window through the camcorder. So I did a little, you know, Photoshop and put my own camera image, or you can find a stock asset of a camera's interface, and I added that as a widget underneath the camera, and that is just a widget component. Okay, a widget component. And then once you've got that widget component added, you come over here, it's going to ask you what widget class you want, and I've just said I want the camcorder widget class. So now when I play, I've got that extra scene. I do not have that extra scene. One second. I think I have the wrong view attached. Oh, I put the wrong target. Camcorder view is the render target I was using. I had made two for a previous recording of the demo, and then it looks like I clicked the wrong one. But now when I press play, and when you press play, hopefully, you'll have that second view there. And for some reason, my widget isn't attached. So, but that's what it would look like. It would be just a completely edgeless window there. The way you did that is you go ahead and add a widget component, and make sure you do widget and not widget interaction. Widget interaction is more for if there were buttons on the camcorder that my player needed to press, but the widget still needed to be in world, and it doesn't. So I'm going to go ahead and add that widget. And then the one thing you want to do for this is you want to come over and tell it what widget it is meant to display. So widget class, did I scroll past it? Yeah, there it is, widget class, tucked right neatly in there, and it is the camcorder widget class. It's backwards right now. It's spawned. It's not only backwards, it's quite huge. Now, never mind that the background is black. That's the actual widget is going to be transparent. My size block renders as black, but once it's in the game, it shouldn't render black. You should see the scene right around it. So what I want to do is go ahead and turn it around 180 degrees. I'm going to shrink it a lot, and try to get it in place on the camcorder as best as possible. Since it's like an in-world widget, everything is to size, so you don't have to worry about it scaling up differently based on the screens. I flipped it inside out. So that's probably good, and you want to get it in place. And I'm going to have to shrink it up and down because there's just a... the camcorder I made is kind of like a square, but then the image here is a rectangle, so I'm going to push it in just a little bit to make sure to see where it's covering, but it's not going to stay that way. Oh, gosh. Okay, I am, let's see, maybe here. Alright, slowly I want to scale. Why is it, I don't have snapping on, but it's snapping. Oh man, this is like my second time making this widget. It was the first time I did it, and now it's giving me so much trouble. Okay, no, if you can see, I'm barely moving my mouse. Alright, so now that it's here, you want to actually pull it out just a little bit so it doesn't clash with the screen, and it's okay because you're seeing it from a flat perspective. It's not actually going to be, it's not actually going to make, it's not actually going to bother the view. So I'm going to go ahead and compile that, press save, and let's see what that looks like. Okay. Now for some reason the lines on the left and right have gotten themselves kind of cut off. I don't know why. It's cut off here, but these lines are looking normal. Something I could fix a little bit later. My view is a little squished. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I think it has a bit to do with the screen capture, because as you can see, in the normal display the robot has a round head, but in this display his head's a bit smushed. It's not that big of a deal. Oh no, it just has to do with the angle, I guess. I'm looking at it. Yeah, everything's a bit wide. That has nothing to do with the widget being over top. That's more of a the scene captures camera. But there you have it. That is how I designed the camcorder. So let's move on to the very, very, very important part of how is it that the alien can only be seen through that camcorder. Oh, that is going to be just as simple as ticking one button. So I have my enemy alien here. I'm going to, while inside the alien or the enemy or whatever, isn't he adorable? I'm going to come right on over here and let's see. I think it's visible to, but I'm just going to type in scene capture. Scene, try changing active filters. What? Oh, wait. Oh, 1 second. Because I'm in the animation blueprint and not in the actual alien, which is right next to him. Alright, so where's my alien? So the way you would get this to be visible is there is a setting here. Let me move it so you can see the entire word. It's called visible in scene capture only. Okay, and all you have to do is tick that, and now you have aliens who are invisible to the human eye and are only seen through your camcorder. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in for some more tips and tricks as we completely dissect every aspect of this game. So go ahead and show your love down in the comment sections, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.